Twashukuru sana kwa yetu shule. Karibu Mombasa, Rais Kibaki na wageni.
O our Creator, bestow your blessings on our President, Honorable Mwai Kibaki and His Highness, the Aga Khan, and grant them health and strength to continue in their endeavors for the good of all people. O Allah, we seek your protection and pray that you bless our school, all our students, faculty and staff, and all those who have been and will be part of this school. Ameen.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Aga Khan Education Service operates more than 300 schools in Africa, South and Central Asia, including 13 schools in Kenya that offer pre-primary to higher secondary education. Mombasa Island is home to 5 of our schools. It is quite momentous that today we are opening a center of excellence on a site just down the road from where, almost a century ago, the first Aga Khan school in Kenya was started. In developing this facility, we have drawn on leading authorities in modern school design philosophy and have worked with superior architects, planners, educationists, and partners in field of education. All of this value-added input has been blended into the architectural language, which draws from that of a Swahili village, itself inspired by its rich Islamic cultural heritage. In the construction of this facility, efforts have been made to use local and environmentally friendly materials wherever possible. The coral used for all of the external building walls has been excavated from the very site itself. The use of timber has been kept to a minimum to conserve this vital natural resource and the landscape design has sought to preserve the historically cherished and revered baobab trees. Beautiful facilities, however, do not constitute a good school, as we all know. Ultimately, it is the faculty and students and how they use our facilities and resources that will make the school a living and successful institution where teachers and students are actively engaged in and out of the classroom. In our attempt to keep students motivated and challenged to learn, we offer breadth, depth, and richness in our curriculum. Aside from its intellectual rigor and high academic standards, students are exposed to a broad liberal arts and humanities program and a diversity of co-curricular activities to meet their needs, as well as encourage them to develop new interests and talents. Through our professional development programs, our faculty are being equipped with innovative teaching and learning techniques. The Professional Development Center on this campus, with its own state-of-the-art resources, will foster research and implementation of best practices in current and teaching pedagogy. Lastly, a new student residential facility will, inshallah, soon be built on this campus to provide access to this center of excellence for bright minds from the region. Having such a facility will enhance cross-cultural learning and, with any residential program, provide the foundation for developing pluralistic respect and tolerance through a community living experience. It is now my profound honor to welcome Your Highness to the podium.
Everyone who joins the establishment of a new school participates in an act of joyful hope and faith. A new school looks to a better world, for it exists to help students develop the character, intellect, and mental resilience that will enable them to prosper in circumstances that we can only imagine. A very high percentage of secondary students will never have the possibility of proceeding to higher education in the years ahead. Probably not more than 15% of graduating students from secondary schools of our areas will ever go to university. It is to the 85% of the students who currently end their education at secondary school that the Aga Khan Academies aspire to offer new and significantly better opportunities. Another consideration is the somber global circumstances in which we launch this new school. We know too well the divisions on the continent of Africa, of rich from poor, of the gravely ill from the healthy and well-fed, of ethnic and religious groups set against one another by fear and incomprehension, or greed and ambition, although they may for centuries have inhabited in the same villages. These conditions are dismaying, but I believe that this is also a time of great promise, that men and women of integrity, understanding, and generosity of spirit can accept differences. But such a world must be based on a new intellectual and spiritual equality. It must be educated to see in pluralism opportunities for growth in all areas of human endeavor. First, and most obviously, the citizens of Africa and Asia must function intellectually at the highest international levels. Their writings and research must contribute to the global edifice of knowledge. Their economists, lawyers, physicians, and scientists must participate easily in professional and scientific societies around the world. Second, and perhaps less obviously, to participate confidently in a plural world the citizens of Africa and Asia must have a deeper grasp of the cultures from which they spring. An African student wishing to study the history of the middle period of his continent will probably go to Paris or London. This in itself is not wrong, but it is an anachronistic absurdity. Asian and African scholars and researchers, anthropologists, archaeologists, art historians, and musicologists are gravely needed in enduring, productive concentrations to create the books and materials that will educate the children of Africa and Asia about their own cultural underpinnings. It is on the base of experience that I took the decision to launch a new network of academic centers of excellence with the aim of educating young men and women up to the highest international standards from primary through higher secondary education. It is my hope that in due course, these schools will be located not only in Kenya, but in Tanzania, Uganda, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Mozambique, Madagascar, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Afghanistan, Tajikistan, and Kyrgyzstan, Syria, and Mali. These academic centers of excellence will over time become an alliance or a system. Advanced students and teaching faculty will be able to move easily among the schools, which will be residential. Graduates, through their periods of study on other campuses, will have personally experienced different social, ethnic, and religious environments. English will be their common medium of instruction, but they will have become bilingual and ideally trilingual. Students in the schools will gain basic education in the fields of study most needed for the development of their societies and home countries, but they will also have a strong grounding in the humanities. Most particularly, they will engage in study of the world's great civilizations, including those of the Muslim world. I would underline 3 characteristics that will be indispensable for these academies. The first is quality of teachers, of students, and of physical facilities. The schools will adopt the International General Certificate of Secondary Education and the International Baccalaureate as their curriculum frameworks, because this will align the school's academic programs with known, proven international standards, and because these frameworks are sufficiently flexible to accommodate humanistic and social scientific materials developed in local environments. A major goal of these academic centers of excellence, therefore, is to rejuvenate and restore the public standing of the profession of teaching. The minds of our children require teachers who are the intellectual equals to the best professionals in fields such as law and medicine. Students must be admitted because of their merit, their intellectual promise, and evidence of their character and desire to learn. This means that the schools must have the capacity to select them without regard to their family's ability to pay the school fees. The buildings and spaces of a school, often the first exposure of young people to architecture and design spaces, both educate the eye of students and reinforce the intellectual standards and cultural rootedness of the institution. The interplay among teachers, students, and facilities of the first quality then are what create an excellent school, regardless of the vicissitudes of time and fashion. No school is an island. The Aga Khan Development Network makes it possible for this Aga Khan Academy to be a partner with 3 sources sources of ideas and programs. For over a decade, the Aga Khan University's Institute of Educational Development, in association with the Universities of Oxford and Toronto, has been working with the schools of Pakistan and more recently of East Africa to foster great teaching. This Aga Khan Academy, in association with the IED, will from its very inception have as at its core a unit to foster the development of teachers. Recent history has highlighted the risk to the fields of general knowledge of the absence in education in the industrialized world of a knowledge of Islamic humanities. The Aga Khan University recognized as early as the 1980s the consequences of this vacuum in general education and conceived an institute to address it. This led to the creation in 2001 of the Aga Khan University's Institute for the Study of Muslim Civilizations in London as a source of ideas, research, and course materials. The Institute, in its short history, has begun to draw together scholars from around the Muslim world and beyond it to consider the great ethical, economic, artistic, and social issues that Muslim societies have faced over the centuries. Finally, the schools will be connected to other schools with their own needs and aspirations. The Aga Khan Development Network's International Academic Partnership will provide the centers of academic excellence with access to the experience and curricular resources of such leading international schools as Phillips Academy in the US, represented here today by Mrs. Barbara Chase, and Salem in Germany. This in turn will enhance the ability of the Aga Khan Academies to make constructive connections with their neighboring government schools. The third essential quality of these academic centers of excellence is the need to guard and treasure their integrity. Education is an intensely moral enterprise which depends upon clear ethical rules. If children and their families can be confident that admission to the academies is by open, understood criteria, that examinations are administered with integrity, and that honors are awarded only for intellectual merit, the academies will attract the most able and honorable applicants. As the young men and women from this Aga Khan Academy, and over time its sister schools, grow and assume leadership in their societies, it is my hope that it will be members of this new generation who, driven by their own wide knowledge and inspiration, will change their societies. That they will gradually replace many of the external forces that appear and sometimes seek to control our destinies. These young men and women, I am sure, will become leaders in the governments and the institutions of civil society in their own countries, in international organizations, and in all those institutions, academic, economic, and artistic, that create positive change in our world. It is my strongest hope that you who carry on the great mission of teaching and of teaching the students here will take pride in the confident, resilient minds that you have nurtured. Thank you.
I would like to thank Your Excellency for taking time from your busy schedule to come and officially preside over the inaugural ceremony of the Aga Khan Center of Excellency. Your presence here, Your Excellency, is a testimony to your commitment to partnership in education and training, and serves as a great inspiration to the education sector to forge ahead despite the many challenges that we do face. Your Excellency, the just concluded National Conference on education and training call for partnership of all stakeholders in the provision of adequate education infrastructure at all levels. The Center of Excellency that is being inaugurated today presents a practical example of how partners can provide complementary support to the government's efforts in the provision of quality education. The center, therefore, is a model facility for quality education, not only in our country, but also in the region. We are confident that other partners will emulate these wonderful examples and expand education and training opportunities in your region. Finally, it is now my singular honor and pleasure to invite Your Excellency to address and officially open the Aga Khan Education Center for Excellency here at Kilindini in Mombasa. Your Excellency the President.
I would like to thank you all for your having been here and your having listened to the owner of this particular institution and the faith he has in the country where he has established himself. It is important, ladies and gentlemen, to have faith in human beings. This is how you, the Aga Khan, are able to establish yourself in every country, in America, Canada, in Europe, in Africa here, in a very special way, in Asia and in other parts of the world. And for that reason, we thank you. And we will thank you very much indeed. It is a great thing that we have friends such as the Aga Khan who help these ideas to grow in this country. And I'm very grateful that that is your role. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am here to actually thank His Highness for what is done to Kenya. He is very involved in development of industry, and he's also very interested in this line of new ideas to contribute to people who are learning those new ideas in the world of today. And I believe that in both sectors, he has gained quite a lot. Now, if we can find a way of you are making sure that, Mr. Aga Khan, you do visit Kenya more often and stay slightly longer. And those of us who are here know that the contribution is made to development in Kenya is terrific. So, ladies and gentlemen, on your behalf, I want to thank the Aga Khan and his people, and thank the people who are dedicated to propagating what you have told them and you have taught them. So, ladies and gentlemen, we thank him very much, and please do come and stay more. Thank you so much.
After the testing, it was a few days, then I got the results that I was selected, and I was so happy about it because I realized that I was gonna get 100% scholarship.
At the Academy, we developed the talent identification program so that we could actively seek young people from marginalised communities with high potential and enable them to receive the excellence education at the Academy.
Before I used to be shy, and how I overcame that is that I used to take advantages of the sports, enjoying what I was doing. From that I was comfortable in my surrounding and environment, and from there on I used to talk to everyone.
Mwanapwani alikuwa na tabia nzuri toka hapa nyumbani. Natoka jiunge na hiyo shule ya Aga Khan, amezidi kujengeka kitabia na pia hasumbui wenzake. Mwanapwani akiambiwa fanya afanya, akiambiwa acha ndo acha. Hatuna shida na Mwanapwani.
In 10 years, I see myself as someone who is more connected to my society, specifically the youth, things like overcoming drugs and avoiding dropouts and early pregnancies for girls. Yeah, I think I'll be working more with my community and also not forgetting about my career. I'm looking forward to be a doctor, and I'm really working hard for that.
And as well as them benefiting from the programme, the other students also understand that we are different and that people from different means have got many gifts and talents to share with everybody else.
When I found out I got full admissions into the academy, I really looked forward to coming here because I knew what it meant for me, for my future, for my family and my community as a whole. The main change that I mainly focused on to bring to my community back in Kwale was mainly the infrastructure and how the environment itself looked. For my former school, the classrooms where we used to sit, how we used to study, wasn't very conducive, and I used to think a lot about how we could make it better. From my young age, I also used to see the challenges that people go through, the challenges my parents went through, challenges of people with disabilities, other people from around.
Raphael was very much interested in learning when he was in primary school, and that encouraged me to teach him more than in fact what he wanted to be taught.
Aga. 5 years later, I do have a better idea of how I can make that happen. I'm mainly focusing on starting small, like empowering the youth and maybe bring them job opportunities through my project so that they can be able to assist me and assist themselves, so that back in my community they get a chance to get something out of it and grow from it, not just helping the people disabled but everyone as a whole, the entire community as a whole.
Raphael at home here, he can be a very good leader. The students he learned within St. Joseph come here, boys, girls. Once they know that Raphael is here, they come.
So my experience in the academy has really helped me get to this point that I am right now. I never got the support to act out what I thought. But when I came to the academy, I was shown how to be open-minded, how to explore, how to be adventurous, creative, how to not just be confined into that comfort zone that limits me and what I could achieve. But when I go back home, I try to engage with the community, with the people around, like with my fellow peers, and try to motivate them and show them how things can be done differently. try to show them that they need to stretch a little further in order for them to accomplish something that either changes the way they are right now into something better.
Now, we've seen how young campaigners in Nigeria have been trying to change people's lives. But in Kenya, one 17-year-old boy has girls at the forefront of his mind. Well, that might not sound too unusual, but there's a reason. Here's Christine to explain what it is.
Yes, Debula, I'm in Mombasa to meet Zian, a young boy who has just won an international award for his efforts to find a solution to stop an issue that faces millions of girls across the world. This is Zian's story.
I'm Zian, I'm 17 years old and I'm a student here in Mombasa, Kenya. I was born in Tanzania and I was raised there. Recently, I was awarded the Princess Diana Award, and it's one of the highest accolades a young person who's making social impact in their community can win. It's in the legacy of Princess Diana. So back in 2017, I was scrolling through my Facebook feed and I watched this really inspiring documentary named India's Menstruation Man. With little knowledge about the menstrual cycle, I had a short conversation with my mom, and I found out that when she was small, she didn't have proper access to menstrual hygiene. I continued doing my research and I found out about 500 million girls around the world don't have access. And that was when I decided to do something about it. So through the personal project in the IB curriculum, I was able to help 22 girls in my community back in Tanzania by producing reusable sanitary packages. 2 years down the line, I launched affordable and accessible sanitation for women, and we are an initiative that aims in giving girls access to menstrual hygiene and breaking the taboo and stigma that's prevalent and associated with periods. In collaboration with Tunaweza Women with Disabilities, produces reusable, cost-effective, environmental-friendly and embarrassment-free sanitary pads. Being a boy when I started my project was actually a challenge for me because it was very hard to actually interact with girls. But right now as I'm speaking, I feel like being a boy has actually helped me, and it sort of helps me to inspire other boys to be part of this issue. Male members in the society mostly contribute towards the taboo and stigma that's associated with periods. We work with girls and also boys in our educational workshops because these boys are going to grow up one day to become fathers, and they will have to give their younger ones money to buy sanitary pads.
We have 8 of these liners. They look like a normal handkerchief. And then we fold them like this.
Our packages last for 3 years. They cost between $5 to $8, 100% biodegradable. If you compare that to disposable packages which aren't environmental friendly, and climate crisis is a serious issue right now. In terms of production, we have 8 liners, 2 wings, an antiseptic soap, hand towel, a period booklet, and then a whole bag to keep the whole package together. Like we'll have to do different tests and see which one's best for the girls in terms of comfortability. Being in the legacy of Princess Diana, it actually encourages me and shows me the magnitude of the work that I'm doing. It encourages me to continue to upscale, continue to work with the girls that I'm already working with. Our main goal in the longer run is obviously, one, to create entrepreneurial opportunities and engage youth as much as possible, because something that has allowed us to make the impact that we've been able to make is use social media to reach out to other youth and then make social impact. It's also made me realize that young people have the power to make so much difference, because a lot of people say we are the leaders of tomorrow, but I believe we are the leaders of today because we have the ability to make positive change in our community, and this is what we need moving forward in the world.
And thanks to Zian for sharing his amazing story with us here on BBC What's New. Zian is now planning to use social media to continue spreading awareness about his project, and we wish him all the best with that.
Now, every country needs educated professionals to help it grow, but developing countries traditionally lose out with the brain drain migration. The Aga Khan Academies, which are part of the Aga Khan Development Network, provide a world-class IB education to children, regardless of social and economic background, with a mission to produce homegrown leaders. We went to visit 2 of the academies in India and Kenya to find out why their alumni are so committed to helping to improve their home countries.
At the Aga Khan Academies in Mombasa in Kenya and Hyderabad in India, children and young people are learning today how to become the leaders of tomorrow. Both schools follow an international baccalaureate curriculum designed to give them a global view as well as a focus on local realities.
Joining this academy really enabled me to widen my horizon, broaden my prospects, and also provided me a vision to my ambition.
You take whatever you learn and actually apply it outside school, which is what I really enjoy. If I'm unable to find a connection to the real world, it doesn't make that much sense to me. And IB really allows you to do that.
Famous quote is, "We're the leaders of tomorrow," but actually I strongly believe that we're the leaders of today. What we do today is what shapes us.
We approach leadership in a different way. We teach it overtly, we encourage students to develop it, and it's interesting that His Highness's vision and mission and the IB's mission chime together very clearly here. We're hoping to achieve students of really high performance at the end, who will go on to the best universities in the world, but who will then return to India or return to Kenya in order to then make a difference in the countries where they have come from.
The Aga Khan Academies also believe if you're talented, your background should be no barrier to realising your ability. And their innovative talent identification programme enables students from disadvantaged communities to join their schools at no financial cost to their families.
We are aiming to bring into the school students who are academically able, who show leadership potential from academically and socioeconomically marginalised areas, to give them the opportunity to come in and access a very rigorous program that is one of the best education systems in the world, and to give them the opportunity to develop as leaders through our mentorship program.
I come from the western side of Kenya. The school has provided me the opportunities that I would have otherwise not found at home. And apart from that, I've grown to know that I'm supposed to give back to my community. And that's what has led me to do things like community and service, and things like taking leadership positions in the school so that I can make my community to be better than every day.
So we have 5 elements which we think are essential to creating students as the kinds of leaders we want: pluralism, ethics, cultures, governance and civil society, and economics for development. And what we try and do is use those as lenses through which we teach the curriculum content, so that students are actually building those understandings, those skills, those dispositions, which we think are essential for them to be leaders in the developing world.
And to give young people the skills to work in their home countries, the academies teach from an early age in both English and the national language where the school is located.
It's important to learn Kiswahili or also different languages because in Mombasa many people speak Kiswahili, so if you learn the language you'll be able to communicate with many people.
And the Aga Khan Academies aim to ensure at least 80% of their teachers come from the regions where the schools are located. And each academy includes a professional development centre for teacher training. These centres provide professional development both within the schools and through outreach in the wider community.
Since 2010, been doing this training program for the government school teachers, and the impact of the program was very good. We were able to see the changes in the teachers, not only in the teachers, we were able to see the changes even in the classroom level.
We don't exist in isolation, we belong to a community. So we want an overflow of what we are doing to go out and reach to the schools around. So we identify their needs, and then we go inside, we check within our faculty who can offer what do we have which can be shared. So we are multiplying the benefits we have here at the Academy to other schools around the country.
And the students are encouraged to better themselves through diverse learning experiences, as well as take action to improve the lives of others through community service.
It is important for them to understand the issues that are affecting the community. It is very important for them also to experience these issues so that when they get to hear from the community, they also have experienced them and they can make informed judgments.
Service just doesn't start at DP. Service is there throughout your MYP as well. And I think being able to give back to the community is very essential in any student's life.
Coming to the Academy has given me a wider range of opportunities. It gives me a chance to explore myself and express myself in many forms.
The IB curriculum talks about lifelong leaders, lifelong learners, and internationally minded people who are culturally rooted.
Nice to see you. For the Academy's alumni, these are lessons in life they never forget.
It taught me the importance of looking back at where I come from, think about that others who are not as privileged as you are, and give back to them. Give them a little bit of that experience, help them improve their quality of life.
I was taught that in as much as you can achieve a lot of things academically and professionally, you also need to be ethical. And added to that is the desire and interest in working with the community, which was also born and developed here.
It's the vision and mission of the Aga Khan Academies to transform lives and communities. And with 16 more schools planned across Africa, Central and South Asia and the Middle East, it's hoped many more young people can take advantage of an education and ethos that offers this pluralistic and public-minded outlook.
I feel like I'm going to succeed, I'm going to prosper, I'm going to excel in almost everything I do.
I've been taught to appreciate other people and other cultures.
I see a lot of inspiration around me and I see role models everywhere.
I really want to go back and then help my country.
I'm really privileged and humbled to be in an academy like this.
The Aga Khan Academy in Mombasa is the first in a network of schools that's dramatically improving education in the developing world. With academies in Kenya, India and Mozambique, the network will eventually expand across 14 countries. Here, it doesn't matter where you're from or how much money you have.
Most people think about economic or social elitism as being associated with the school, but we believe we are far from that. We go out of our way to seek financial aid students, those who otherwise could not afford, but who demonstrate that intellectual capability and that leadership capability that they will ultimately benefit from a school like this one.
The Aga Khan Academies have a mandate to provide access to promising students. This academy in Mombasa actively recruits gifted and talented students living in underrepresented, marginalised communities and offers them the opportunity to receive an outstanding education at one of the best schools in Kenya. This is the first school in Kenya to be authorised to offer all 3 international baccalaureate programmes. Lovely comes from Kilifi County in Kenya. She used to study at a local school with limited facilities. Now she's a student at the academy, she's doing things she could never have done at her own school.
The moment I crossed the gate, I felt like my life is beginning in a new way. Because first I've been in a different environment with different people as in terms of how they talk, where they come from, their different cultures. And I also knew that I was going to change in terms of how I think, how I learn, how I speak, how I interact with different people.
There's all sorts of people from different socioeconomic, cultural, religious backgrounds interacting with one another, engaging with one another, and I think that really helps them when they go out in the outside world and become leaders of the future.
If she's talking to me, I see her that she's very confident. She has changed. We miss her, but we appreciate. Yeah, because we know she's doing something there. Yeah, about our future, about her future, about her brother's future, sister's future. Yeah, even the community as a whole.
Okay, I'm going to ask you to look at the pictures once again, Jeff. So that
The Academy casts a wide net for promising students, working in conjunction with the Aga Khan Foundation. The selection process seeks to find children who won't just complete the school's demanding international baccalaureate curriculum, it seeks students with strong leadership potential, students who'll strive to improve the societies in which they live.
That test, in a way, gives us some idea of how students are thinking, what they would do in a certain situation in terms of benefiting the community, what problems they can foresee in terms of developing a solution to the particular problem, and how they would overcome those difficulties.
Good.
This lycée is in Khorog, Tajikistan, a remote part of one of the poorest countries in the world. Educational facilities are limited by the school's geographical isolation. Every year, several students at the lycée receive assistance to go and study at the Aga Khan Academy in Mombasa. A similar programme is underway at the Aga Khan Academy in Hyderabad, where students from Afghanistan are being given this same opportunity. This family has a daughter in Mombasa.
I used to stereotype a lot back at home because of the closed environment I was in. I didn't get to know a lot about the outside world, but when I came here, I became a critical thinker. Every time I wouldn't accept information just the way it is, I'd analyze it and think about and make my own conclusions about it.
Я самостоятельность, я отношения, машка, то я уже более взрослый, чизаман, фикрет, я снафал саран, я лапхах, кледурсец.
The Mombasa Academy encourages students to maintain their local culture so they don't feel cut off when they return home. Events like this also enrich the lives of other students and show them something of Tajik culture. Amin is from Khorog too. He takes regular Russian language lessons, something he'll need when he returns to Central Asia. Here in Mombasa, he's learning new skills on the sports ground, as well as the classroom. And in his dorm room, he's mixing with people he would never have met in Tajikistan.
So if you want to say what's up, man, you say vidze baye.
My roommates are really friendly because every time when you ask them for help, they help you. If they need something, you help them if you can. And also they're from different places, and the way their culture is, it's really different. But then we still do the same things and we respect each other.
Mary was one of the first selected to join the Aga Khan Academy. 6 years later, she's just got accepted to the University of Toronto on a full scholarship. Many more young people like her could benefit from the same opportunity.
I see myself as a leader in very many ways. When I come back after my education, I want to be able to improve the infrastructure in my community for starters, because I believe the rural areas in Kenya have really been segregated from the economic development that is happening to the cities. The very act of me getting accepted to a university abroad means that the girls in my community can look at themselves and say, if Mary could do it, then I can too. So that's why this really changes my life and my community's life as a whole.
Pluralist, confident and accomplished in academic and non-academic activities, these are the students the Academy is creating. They're the leaders of tomorrow.
If we believe that we are all equal, then definitely we won't have any fights. And if we're taught to appreciate other cultures or the leaders or the law, then we'll have a peaceful world and a peaceful Kenya.